I did not major in that, so. But I went to University of Wisconsin. Anybody else? Woo! All right, go Badgers. Okay, I did major in a language. I majored in Hebrew, and I also majored in Middle Eastern Studies, and I'm not gonna be political, but we're gonna talk about how Hebrew and Arabic and Aramaic are all languages that are connected and also to the original sin. So this is called a sinful, that's me. That's the Jewish thing part, okay. The sinful etymology of Hebrew clothing words. It also relates to Arabic. I don't speak Arabic that well, but I do speak Hebrew very well. It's really interesting because if you know anything about that time that Adam and Eve were like, are we naked? Bad stuff happened after that. And our languages actually reflect that. Not English so much, it's not as cool. Oh, I then listed my majors. Okay, great. Okay, cool. Bachelor of the Arts, not Bachelor of the Sciences. Okay, so first and foremost, when we're talking about language development, we're talking about stem formation. So the Semitic languages are all known for having root words and that being the base of how they operate. Not English as much, right? We can also refer back to Latin sometimes when it comes to prefixes and suffixes, right? You know, antechamber, etc. But it's not the same as 3 letters that build a block that have all the same meaning. Every single word connected to those 3 letters has to do with the same meaning. Arabic and Hebrew and Aramaic and part of Phoenician all have this same structure. So stem formation is basically this idea of a root being interwoven throughout the language. So you might not know anything about a language, but you see that 3 letters in order and you're like, that means writing, that means reading, that means bread, right? It's always consistent. And I wish it was in English because then we wouldn't have to know how to speak that well. It'd be great. So the great majority of Semitic roots consists of 3 consonants. Very rarely there are ones with 4. They're called rectangular stems, and I don't know why they exist, but they do. Mostly it's 3, rule of 3. Okay, so what is morphology? This is so nerdy, you guys. We're doing it, okay. So in the context of Semitic languages, morphology is like how words are created. What is the structure? How are they like connected? So you have a base, a connector vowel, and a base log. In English, A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y, those are our vowels, right? In Arabic and in Hebrew, they're dots. They're dots above or beneath or like small lines underneath and above the words. They're not even part of the alphabet. Like, you don't need it, just make a consonant. That's why it's on like all the time. But it depending on what dots and or small lines help you inflect and understand how to pronounce it. So the vowels actually don't matter. It's just the consonants that matter. So words might sound different, but they all have the same thing. It comes from the Greek word to morphe. Cool. I'm like, questions, comments? No, all right. So, and morphemes are the small units that when created like blocks. If you think about it like a train, it's like one is an engine, one is the carrier. I actually don't know anything about trains, so let's assume for it. But it's kind of like a train, multiple little, parts of a train that are connected by different engines. Okay, I don't think that's how trains work, but this is how words work. So, okay, it's the study of word structure and it's how words are built today throughout all languages. Semitic languages are a very specific kind of language formation, some of the oldest written word, and I have always been super, super interested in it. So, whereas we might see divisions in today's society, linguistically we are all connected. We are related, these languages are sisters. Sometimes they're mother and daughter, we're gonna get to that, this family idea of the languages themselves. It all started with the Phoenicians, okay? They, hooked on phonics, phonetics, that word, same thing. These people, our ancient society, they created the first written word based on language that was discussed, okay? But now here we are. All right, that's just a Phoenician cartoon, I don't know. I was like, let's make it fun. So, okay, first, as I just posited, the thesis here is that Hebrew and Arabic are sister languages. As this is like part of the Mediterranean basin. So what this map is trying to do is show you, based on the tribes, where these languages started to actually develop. Whereas Hebrew is more north, Arabic is younger cousin. is from the south, and they developed thousands of years apart, but completely in congruence with the Phoenician alphabet, which later became the Aramaic alphabet. So, Phoenician, the OG, around 1050 BCE in the Levant region, which is what we are looking at. Levantine, some might pronounce it. Hebrew is the earliest literary tradition, but Aramaic came first. So Hebrew became what we know as the Old Testament in the Bible, but those characters were developed from the Phoenician alphabet, which started with Aramaic. So Aramaic developed slightly after Hebrew, but in tandem, they look alike. I'm gonna show you charts where you see these letters kind of shaping, and it's kind of like, you know, the pictures of monkeys and apes becoming human. That's kind of what these letters look like, right? It's an evolution of block script that kind of ends up to be more curvy, actually. Like me, no, okay. And Arabic then is the younger cousin, developed in the Arabian Peninsula, which is South Central Semitic area. So, Arabic, Hebrew, and above it, I'm too short, but that is where we're talking about Aramaic. When we talk about like early Talmud and that kind of scripture, it's actually largely written in Aramaic, and then later was adapted to Hebrew and Arabic. So, cool. All right, keeping it Phoenician. All right, so it just says a review. The Phoenicians, they had a 22-letter consonantal alphabet. Like I said, no vowels, who needs them? This is not Wheel of Fortune. So all of these languages are written right to left, also a difference. So if you're left-handed, these are the languages for you. Never helped me, but you write like that. And they read right to left, cool, they're all the same in that way. The Aramaic branch, if you want to think of it like a tree, would consist of Hebrew, Syriac, Nabatean, and later Arabic. And the South Arabian branch would be like modern Aramaic, which nobody speaks, okay? But it's studied. Imperial Aramaic, during 80 to 500 BCE, I always get confused because it gets smaller as we get to 0, but whatever. This is during the Persian Empire. And many scripts in the Middle East were very much influenced by the Phoenician alphabet, which came first and became to be adapted. It's said that Jewish scribes later adapted this to square. So it was curvier, and then it became right angle based. Make it easier to write, make it easier to replicate. This is widely spread in the beginning of language. The idea of script, like think about now, cursive completely gone in English, these kids don't know it, but it used to be very important, the adaptation of our language to make it easier and faster to write. The same holds true in ancient languages. Nabatean script descended from Aramaic, and it's basically what the area would be called, considered Jordan now. They use Arabic, but this is their descendant. And they became like more cursive, and they flow together, and this can be directly attributed to modern Arabic script. So, started somewhere, now we're here. Arabic today. Started with 22 letters, now there's 28. They're all consonants. That's it, just like Hebrew. Same thing, I think there are 23 letters in Hebrew. I don't know what happened to the other 5. So, this is cool, I like this. That kind of looks like K. Honestly, all of these kind of look like the logo of the Crucible, if we're being honest with ourselves. So, which one is it? But it's cool, so like, they're trying to create parallels between like T and this cross, P. This looks like a letter in Hebrew called tet, so the T sound, naturally you hear a P sound in your mouth if you think about that. A backwards 4 kind of thing looking like an R, and this is really the Phoenician beginnings of writing. So if it looks familiar to you, awesome. If it looks like a logo, that makes sense. All right, Aramaic, the OG. So again, I am gonna speak from a perspective of using Hebrew as the core to explain this, and I can identify these letters for you. So this is actually Aramaic. Fun fact, Aramaic and Hebrew written in the same font. It's like Spanish and English. You think you know Spanish and you don't, okay? Written in the same exact letters and characters. This looks like Hebrew, it is Aramaic. So, I like this example because we're talking about from earlier these stem root words. The best way to explain this one, which is katav, in English would be KTB. Okay? Consonants, KTB. Everything in Aramaic having to do with KTB, ktav, katba, michtav, ktaba, dai, has to do with writing. The three letters KTB have to do with writing. So he wrote, document, letter, written, the writing, ktavim, scriptures. And from that, both Arabic and Hebrew were like, okay, we see that stem, and we raise you two different languages. I really like this, it's so cool. You can see the morphology, really the change from this is Hebrew, Arabic, Syriac, Brahmi, Nabatean, I don't know what that language is, and they're all evolving. They have similarities, so though they are different languages, they came from the same father and mother, or just mother, because languages are female, okay. In Hebrew and Arabic, the word language is actually a female word, so, because there's gender. Ugh, that's why English is better, just kidding. English has never been better. All right. So we just talked about KTB. Let's just focus on that. Katav, this is the Hebrew version. Same thing, slightly different, it's just like a dialect. So, Katav has, those are the word writing, Ketovet means address, Michtav means letter, and Ketuba means marriage certificate. So yeah, even your marriage is written in your destiny, okay. Oh, but wait, that was a cool diagram. So this is an evolution again. This is kind of like the letters we saw earlier, and now they're changing even more. They're adapting. We're trying to find parallels to the English version, but it's not, they can't be parallels. So though this kind of looks like an N and this kind of looks like an M, they don't make that sound. This is just our brains trying to understand this evolution in language. Cool. Okay. And then, same thing with Arabic. I wish I could tell you what these letters were, but it's pronounced exactly the same way. Rather than the root word or the stem word being katav, it's kataba. Very similar, best friends, okay. And this is the evolution of these Arabic scripts. So we start in the same place, and we start and we move and we change until we see what looks like modern Arabic, noticing the dots above them, part of the vowels, consonant form. Okay, cool. We all started in the same place, Aramaic and Phoenician. Hebrew and Arabic. So, back to back, does anyone read Arabic here? Just raise your hand if you actually read Arabic. Anyone read Hebrew? Oh, 1, 2 of us. Okay, so no one knows if I'm wrong. Okay, great. I'm not wrong. All right, side by side, it's very cool because they do sound alike. The same, and the Hebrew word is shoresh, which stem, it means root word. Katav, he wrote. In Arabic, kataba, he wrote. They sound alike, they look different, they started the same. Michtav, letter. Maktub, letter. Do you hear this? It's like a familiarity of the creation of the word. It's the exact same consonants in the exact same order. Kotev is the verb form. Katib means writer. So I can't speak Arabic well, but I can identify many, many words because they follow the exact same rules, which is so cool. Ketuba, maktaba. Maktaba is bookstore. Kitab, book. Ketova, address. That's all three sounds. So cool. And that's what they look like. All right, cool. So this is what the core of my presentation is about. I think this is the coolest part. So Semitic languages evolved similarly into what they are today, the way that they are created, the way that they morph together, and the way that they are conjugated. But in the Bible, Adam and Eve were like, we're naked, that's bad. And God was like, that's really bad that you know that. And now every single word having to do with clothing is gonna have a negative meaning. And in both Hebrew and Arabic, that is true. I've been fascinated with this. So, the original sin is like okay, that's just a cute little graphic, fig leaf and sons, because shame never goes out of style. So Adam and Eve messed up, and our language never lets us forget that. All right, so, beged, BGD. If you want to think about that as the stem word, bagad. Begadim in Hebrew literally mean clothing, right? We're all wearing begadim right now. Another word for someone that is a boged is a traitor. because to wear clothes is to be a traitor. It is treacherous. But God is to have committed a crime. It also means clothing. They're the exact same root word. And it goes on, the list doesn't stop. Traitor! Okay. We have me'il. So me'il means coat, a jacket, which we need right now, even though it's warmer in Chicago. And robe, outer garment, but lim'ol, mo'el, means to embezzle. You're wearing a coat, but you're taking other people's money. Okay, it's a bad word. It starts with the root word, and then it becomes something beyond itself that is a transgression. To defraud, act unfaithfully, to keep yourself warm from the cold. All right. Those are related images. Okay, great. I really worked hard on this PowerPoint, I forgot. Cool. Okay, I have like two more. So this is KSH or kisui kasa, to cover. To cover clothing. So in Arabic tradition, Jewish tradition, you're often covering your head. Very, very common for modesty, same exact origin. Kisui rosh is a head covering. But lechasot is to cover up or hide a crime. So you might be hiding that you're bald, or that you stole a bunch of millions of dollars. It's the same word, it's a beautiful headscarf, but it's also guilty. Okay. Great. Okay, this is the stem word for to actually dress yourself, lavash, lilbosh. And lahit labesh, which is a different verb form of the word lilbosh, means to exploit. So you can dress yourself or you can exploit the market. All right. And it used to be neutral, but as evolution of language continues, the negativity follows. You can never forget. Exploit it. Cool. Na'al is shoes, to wear shoes. Seems normal enough, but it's to imprison. It can't just be one. Yes, you imprison your feet, and you're also in jail. It's bad, and those are shoes, and now you're in prison. Okay, cool. Even more. There's so many. Okay, so there are so many that have to do anything with the outer garment, or to hide, or to cover. The word skin itself in Hebrew, or, are the exact same letters as the word sin. That's an English fun thing, skin and sin. Just a K separates them. All right, and in Arabic, because I wanted to be able to show you that it's the same, I have two examples. I don't know if they made it into the slides. Oh yes, they did! Let's go. So malbas is clothing or garment in Arabic. And that is now associated with something that is confusing or ambiguous, something negative. Gazma is kind of a slur. In many dialects, it means to call someone trash or be like worthless, but it also means shoe. Shoes are bad, you guys. Take them off and throw them. Okay. All is which to say, these people, this crazy amalgamation of what might have been, language does not let us forget our origins. It doesn't let us forget that we are tied together. Linguistically and in Halloween stores, okay? Even though both languages and religions have nothing to do with Halloween. So I've always been fascinated by this. I love etymology. I love the Hebrew language. I love Arabic. I think they're both rich and beautiful. And I think sometimes if we focus on what brings us together far more than what brings us apart, we'll see that no matter what, Adam and Eve fucked up, okay? Cool, that's me. This is my website and my contact information. Thank you so much. I've been Professor Rebecca Joey Schwab. Okay, have a good night.